So welcome from Prerona Television Canada, and also on behalf of Global Academy of Holistic Leadership and Coaching, we are very happy. We are continuing our first information technology speaker series, and today is our episode 1. And we are very glad that we'll be discussing big data analysis and report automation through PQ. So this is a very important and technical sessions. We are very glad that we are actually with you. So thank you so much for those who are following with us, Oliver. Just to let you know, this particular series we are running from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, Prerona TV Canada, and in collaboration with Global Academy of Holistic Leadership and Coaching. So this institute, we are providing a lot of session, technical sessions and other sessions, and we're very glad today we are having a very important person with us. He's none other than MD. Uh, he's Mehenazuddin Rupam. Sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Mohammad Mehezanuddin Rupam, and he will introduce himself and he will continue his session. So thank you very much, Mr. Rupam, for being with us and sharing your technical expertise with us. It is very important, nowadays because of COVID and pandemic. I think we need to equip ourselves with all this knowledge and technical knowledge. So it is very important for us to at least update ourselves, upgrade ourselves, and so that we can be successful in the business field. So thank you very much. Now I introduce like Mr. Mehazanuddin Rupam. If you kindly introduce yourself first and you can continue your session. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Mr. Edward. So it's a pleasure being here. So as you said, I'm just a bit correcting my name. It's Mehnazuddin Rupam. So uh, I hope that everyone get my name correctly, right? So I prefer to call by Rupam only, so it's better, and it would be convenient for you to call me as Rupam. So yep, it's a great opportunity provided by COVID. Apart from its other disadvantages, it's a very good advantage that we can connect globally to any other location and to many more people that we could have done in our physical conferences, seminars, or in trainings, obviously. So, yep, today we will going to talk about a really good thing, which is my favorite topic, that is big data analysis and report automation. And I am doing this with Power Query. So we will get to know about what is big data, obviously, and how can we actually automate our reports with Power Query. What is Power Query, in fact, obviously. So before going to this, let me introduce myself to you. So I guess some of you know me already, and those who don't know about me, I am working with a German multinational company which has is its footprint in Bangladesh as well. So I'm leading the HR function over here, and apart from this, I also take the responsibility or conduct the responsibility of being the lead of employee engagement survey project for the entire Asia for this company, and also the new HR projects for this company. So this is my current profession. So apart from this, I also take a deep interest in teaching Microsoft Excel, and I am on it from like 2012. So it's been like 9 years in this trade, and I'm quite enjoying interacting with people with different organizations and supporting them with their data analysis and automation precisely. And let me talk about my previous professional profile. So this gives you enough confidence on me so that I can reorient to my self to the audience, in fact. I started my career with British American Tobacco, which is also a multinational company in their sales and marketing, uh, or trade marketing and distribution function. And after that, I integrate myself with another local conglomerate or large local company named Beximco Pharmaceuticals in their HR function. And after that, I moved to Lafarge Holcim, taking the role of L&D and a bit of business partnering role in their manufacturing function as well. So after that, I started my career with Aman, and it's been like 6 years with the company, and I'm quite enjoying my role over here. And as I said, apart from this, I also take a deep interest in Excel. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me in Facebook, in LinkedIn, and you have my email over here, and my contacts are there. I'm reachable through WhatsApp, WeChat, and Viber as well. I have YouTube channel named 5MB Excel class, where you can find Excel related videos, obviously. And recently I am uploading some videos related to Power Query, because this is my key interest nowadays. And yep, uh, let's not talk more theory. We will be more technical, but apart from the technical aspects, I would focus a uh, bit on the theoretical part, obviously, as I have promised at the inception of this, right? So I think the presentation slide is visible to everyone, which is about big data. You can see the big data amidst of many visuals, right? So these visuals effectively reflect that what is actually big data. So there are lots of V's, right? Primarily, there are three V's, which is very prominent to understand big data, what it is. We will obviously delve into this. So big data is data that contains a greater variety arriving in increasing volumes and with ever higher velocity. So this definition is sourced from Oracle. You know Oracle, right? So they further highlighted there are 5 V's that we consider in big data analysis. So nowadays we have high volumes of low density and unstructured data. So we receive data, or I should say information, in large volume, which are not structured at all. So we need to structure this, right? Then there are even faster rate of receiving this data, and we have a very minimum time to act on it, right? I think the audience will agree on this, obviously. And there are not a single type of data, for your understanding. There are multiple sources of data, multiple types of data. We receive the data in the form of text, in the form of audio, video, and there could be a lot other sources, obviously. And uh, realizing the intrinsic value of this data has been a challenge nowadays, because we have lots of data there. They are unstructured, and the frequency of receiving data is faster even compared to our imagination. So uh, really getting the right insight from the data is now a challenge. And also we are receiving data from different sources. So the authenticity of the source is very important when we are analyzing the big data, obviously. So these are the 5 V's I'm talking about for big data analysis, right? We need to think of this. And the second part is to integrate this data, manage this data, and actually get the meaning out of this data, right? So there are 3 processes. One is to integrate data. that in brief we call ETL, right? Extract, transform, and load. So this this is the main challenge of uh, uh, converting unstructured data to a really structured data, what we call as proper data set, right? So that is the key challenges, and trust me, this is the more time consuming process in the data management, right? So this in this part we will take the help of Power Query that we will going to learn in a bit. So after integrating data, we found that Oracle says that the main challenge is to store this data, because uh, if you go back to like 25 or 30 years, uh, right, you can recall the use of floppy disk, right? So you can imagine that how much data a floppy disk can store, right? This was pretty less. Nowadays, we are talking about 1 terabyte or 1 petabyte even. So these are huge amount of data nowadays we can handle through cloud system, right? So this is the main challenge of managing the big data nowadays. So these things come in the next phase of uh, managing big data. And the third thing is to actually derive meaning out of your large amount of data, the big data. And that means your investment in big data pays off when you analyze and act on your data, right? So you make visualization, um, you make business intelligence report that will help your management to make the correct decision for the organization that would bring ultimately a profit for the company, right? So this how the big data works. Now, how does this Power Query help us? As I said, it helps us when we actually integrate multiple sources of data and structure this data with this ETL process, extract, transform, and load process, right? So what are the key benefits of this Power Query? We can connect to any type of data source and fetch data. We can connect to a folder. We can connect to text. We can connect to SQL data sources, or we can even connect to SAP data sources. We can connect to SharePoint. We can even connect to Outlook, right? Uh, so there are many sources of data, and we can actually use the Power Query to connect to these data sources and define the process for data cleansing and transformation. So there are very, very interesting options available in Power Query that actually helps us to clean the data and transform the data so that we can derive the meaningful insights from it. Then we can combine data sets. We can even combine different tables using different joins or appending the data. We will get to see about this, obviously. And entirely Power Query actually automate this uh, uh, data extraction and transformation process. You can just copy and paste the data into a raw data source, and it will actually transform the whole thing and create the meaning out of this raw data. That is how magical is Power Query. So this Power Query basically works in two areas. One is obviously Microsoft Excel, and another is obviously the Power Query, Power BI. So Power BI is a business intelligence applications uh, actually provided by Microsoft. This is a separate software, and Microsoft Excel is a separate software. So in both both the applications you can use the power of Power Query. And there are 6 important areas of Power Query. I will actually show you in the Power Query editor when we actually work with about 1.5 millions of data today. So I will show you how can we extract 1.5 millions of data and transform it and make a good insight out of it. So this is basically the dashboard we will be preparing today. So uh, this is actually based on about 1.1 millions of data. Uh, it's a simple data visualization, but there are lots of magic behind this. So let's put this to application. Let's learn the Power Query. And later on in the session, I will introduce you to some uh, great resources that you can research on so that you can further enhance your knowledge on Power Query. And obviously, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Edward will arrange a separate training sessions on Power Query so that we can learn more on it and we can get the maximum benefit out of Power Query. So I will share my Microsoft Excel screen now. Uh, Edward, please let me know if you see my Microsoft Excel screen, if it's visible.
Excel sheet.
Yeah, you can see my face.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
If you can see my picture, this is my Excel file. And this is basically the dashboard. You can see there are 4 brands available. One is Chevrolet, one is Ford, one is Honda, and another one is Toyota. So basically, I have a company named Fire on Wheels. So this is a car selling company, and it has 4 car brands available, and there are obviously separate key account manager for this. So my objective is to see how we made the revenue throughout the year, and we want to see that whether it was a growth in sales or degrowth in sales. And another thing we want to see that who were the top salesperson of the organization. You can see that these 3 persons are the top, and you can see this. These are the uh, bottom performers in my organization. So another thing that based on their sales, we have provided a commission within the organization, right? And we are able to see that uh, how much commission is been given in different months, right? So if you click on any of the brands, right, it will update the visualization, right? You can see the animations behind it, right? So our objective is to make such insights to data visualizations, and through Power Query we can even see the information of different years, right? So it is possible. So actually, I will first of all show you what is the data source, right? So let me share my another screen. That is okay. So these are the text file 2015 and 2016. So these are the text file being used for preparing this report. You can see we have dates from 2015. We have sales representative's name here, and we have a product's name. We have revenue information available, and it looks clumsy, right? Uh, it does not look as soothing as we saw in the visualization area, right? So our objective is to, connecting to this unstructured data source and make it structured and extract some more insight from it so that I can make a perfect business intelligence report for my management team so that they can map their future strategy based on this data, right? So these are 2015 and 16 data available. And I also have 2017 data that I haven't put in my sales data folder. So we will see the magic afterwards. Let me just uh, take you through the applications. How does it works and how can we extract the data first? So our first objective would be to extract the data, all right? Through Power Query. And the second thing would be to transform this data in a way so that we can feed this data visualization area, this dashboard, right? Okay, so what brings the Power Query in Excel? So we have to go to data and we have to go to this amazing area that is called get and transform data. So we will go to get data and we need to go to from file, and there are lots of options available. You can see from workbook, from text or CSV, from XML, even you can pull the data from web as well. So you can put data from PDF as well. So in our instance, we will connect to a folder since we have a folder available to us, right? So I'm selecting the folder. So it pops up the area where we need to find the data. So let me just connect to my folder. So I will simply paste the location here, and you can see I cannot see uh, whether I have the right files available, but I know that there are files available here in the sales data folder. So I press on open, and it's simply trying to working on, right? And here we are, we can see that there are two files like 2015 data.txt and 2016 data.txt. So these are text files available on that folder. So what are the options available in here? We can either combine this data, right? Combine and transform. We can directly load this data to a pivot table or a normal table, or we can use the transform data option. So I will use this transform data option so that I can go to Power Query. So I guess the screen is not available to you. Let me take you to that screen. Mm, So can you see the Power Query editor? So
Yes,
the Power Query editor is available, right?
Power Query Editor, correct.
Okay,
Power
cool. So we are in the Power Query editor. So let me introduce to some of the options available in Power Query. So this is the home area where we can actually close and load the data we have, right? We get the choose column, remove column option from which we can decide on how what are the columns we need in our table, or what are the columns not required. We can decide on this. Similar way, we can decide on the rows as well. We can sort the data here, ascending or descending based on the data. Then we can split column. It's similar to like text to column options so we have in Excel. And we have the group by option available to us through which we can group the data. So there are options available, and we have another good option, that is merge queries, through which we can excuse me, sorry, we can merge different queries. So we can append queries, we can combine different files like this, right? And these are the two handful options available in Power Query. One is transform, through which we can actually manipulate data and automate the manipulation process of the data. And similarly, we can use this add column option, where we can use custom column with lots of codings. And also we can use conditional column, which is quite similar to uh, the if condition we have in Excel. So we will slowly get into this. So you can see that I have the two files that I have shown you previously. One is for 2015 data and another one is 2016 data. So now my objective would be to download this data so that I can see the whole of it and uh, actually do the necessary calculations on it, right? So I just press on this arrow and it's just connecting to my data sources, and it shows me a sample that your data looks like this. So I get to see almost 200 rows of data to make sure that the data is in right structure. So I can see the dates are available, uh, sales are available, and representatives are available, and product names are available, and revenue informations are available. So I press on OK, and it just transformed the data for me, right? So I have the date available, and the sales uh, representatives names are available, and the products, different products we have are available, and also we have the revenue information available. So um, we want to filter the data based on year, their month, and quarter. So we need to extract the year information from this, the information about the quarter, and the name of the month. So to do this, we have our very good friend, that is at column, right? So what we will do is we will simply click on this add column option, selecting the date column from here. Click on this, click on year, and select year from this. You can see there is a separate column called year, right? In similar manner, we will select the column again and go to date and go to month and go to name of month, right? So now we have the month name available to us. And the last thing would be to see the number of quarter, the number of the right quarter, right? So I will select the quarter of the year, and it will bring that in which quarter of the year the sales was done. If we just manually check back, the date was 6/3/2015. uh, so 6 is the month, 3 is the day, and 2015 is the year, obviously. So 6 falls in the second quarter, and we can see this is in the second quarter, right? So now we have the filter information available, the year, month, and quarter. Now we want to see what was the average sell for this company, and how many employees or how many sales was done above the average sales value. So if anyone or uh, any particular date has a sales value uh, above the average, they will get, or it will get uh, a 15% commission on the sales revenue, right? So that we want to derive from this. So I have selected the revenue column, right? And go to transform. And from there, I select the statistics and select average. Right. So the average sales was 31,614. So now all the columns are disappeared, right? So I cannot calculate further, but this is not the end, obviously. So we have our function or formula bars available here. If I click on this, it will generate a function here. So I can actually go back to any of the steps we have recorded further. So you can see that whatever calculations or whatever transformations we have done is been recorded step by step. So in my custom area, I will refer to inserted quarter step so that I can actually skip this step and bring back the last step before this average calculation, right? So what I will do is I will simply remove this and start typing inserted quarter, right? You can see the IntelliSense also suggesting me that uh, there are number of steps available in my Power Query, and we can pick from there, right? So I'm selecting inserted quarter. If I press on it, I can bring back my columns, right? Now I need to compare to this calculated average thing, right? So I will just rename it. I will rename it as like average revenue, right? Okay, cool. So it's been renamed as average revenue. Now I will add a column, and actually I will put a custom column, and I want to see or calculate the commission, right? Commission, sorry, commission, right? So if my revenue is greater than the average revenue, right? Average revenue, then revenue multiplied by 15%, right? Else 0. So my function or formula is done. I will simply press OK, and it has calculated the commission, right? So our average revenue was 31,614, and it has calculated commission for this, right? Which is 4,863, and the revenue value was 32,412, which is above the average, right? So in this date, I received a commission, right? But for this, we haven't received any commission because it was below average. So my calculation is done, right? And another thing we can do, like, okay, so we can bring in another. uh, custom column, right? Revenue status, where we will show if the revenue is greater than average revenue, that is this step, right? This is step. Then, sorry, then it's good, right? Else it's poor. So I am just rating my sales revenue status. If it is above the average revenue, then it's good. Otherwise, it's poor. So I press on OK, and I will be able to see the status, right? So you can see that in which rows we got the commission value, we receive good rating, and for others we received poor rating, right? So another thing we can do, because in Power Query we have to write many calculations, right? So we can simply right click and rename the step to remember what we did in this particular step, right? So we have calculated the commission, so we can rename it so that it's easy to relate or easy to identify that in which step we did the commission calculation. And similar way, we can name it like revenue status, right? So it's done, it's completed. Now we can simply click on home. So every calculation is been done, right? And another thing we need to be aware of, that the things we need, we only have to keep those things in the table or query. And for the other things, we can remove this, right? So we want to remove the unusual column. So we can select the column and press delete from the keyboard to remove the column, or else we can go to choose column from home and select choose column and uncheck everything and only check the things we need to keep. So I need to keep the rep, the product, the revenue, and the filters: year, month, quarter, commission, and revenue status, right? So press on OK. It will record the step, that is remove other columns, right? So it has removed the unusual data we have in our data set. And if you think that you have removed a very important column, then you can always click on this gear icon and bring back any column that you had planned to keep in the original data set, right? So you can press on OK, and it will obviously bring back the column, right? So now the job is to close, close and load. Uh, I'm pretty sure that the screen is black now. So, okay, cool. So now what we will do is we will click on the only create icon, or we can press on the table, right? To actually load this data as a table or a pivot table report. So it's only available to Microsoft 365. So those who of you are using Microsoft 365 will only get this dialog box, but Power Query is available from 2013 as an add-ins. So in 2013, you will get it as an add-ins. But in 2016 it's available, but with not these all these options, obviously. But for those of you who are working with Power Query, obviously, I will suggest you to use Microsoft 365. Okay. Now I will actually load this as only create connection. Now you will be able to see, right? Now we will be able to see that the sales data 3 query has been loaded to our data set. So we can actually uh, put this in a pivot report. So we can go to insert, we can select pivot table and select use an external data source, choose connection, and we can select the sales data 3 query over here and press on open. Okay. We will be able to load this to a pivot table. And as you know, that pivot table have all the reporting options available with it, so that you can manipulate your data or orient your data in a way that create more insights on it. So let us wait, because we have like 1.2 millions of data loaded in 2 years, right? So it will take time to actually bring the pivot table. All right, you can see it's loading, right? So you can see that if you want like product wise revenue value, it's easily can be derived. If you want like product wise and sales representatives wise data, you can also see the information. If you want to add some filters, right? Like sales, you can add a slicer and you can hover over the years and it will be like animated, right? So uh, I won't get into the details of how I prepared this dashboard, because it requires a separate course, obviously, and um, a lot of time and efforts are involved in deriving this data visualization. However, I will show you a really magical thing here, right? So let me just remove my these new queries so that it we can save some time, because otherwise Edward will disconnect us, and you can understand, right? Okay, cool. So okay, so we have two different years available, 2015 and 2016. If you can recall that, or I will show you, obviously. Let me take you to my local drive again. So we have 2017 data available. And let me remind you that we have connected through a folder, right? And the folder name was sales data, right? And we have only 2015 and 2016 data available here. And in our dashboard, we also have the 2015 and 2016 data available, right? So what I will do is I will simply copy the 2017 data, Control C copy, or let me show you the visual copying, right? Copy, and I will go to the sales data folder, right? And simply paste the data, right? You can see the size of the files. One is 21 megabyte, another one is 20 megabyte, and we have the last one as 16 megabyte, right? These are huge data, right? So what I will do is I will simply press on this refresh button over here, right? And you can see that we will be able to get the 2017 data automatically, right? So let's do it. It will take 5 to 6 minutes to load the data, because now we will be having or working with like 2 millions of data. That is huge, right? So that is really a big data. And for your information, an Excel worksheet can handle only 1 million of data. And now we are working with multiples of 1 million, right? Almost double the data. And the file size, each file size of those text files was around 20 megabyte, right? So we have like 16 megabyte of data. And I will show you, after loading the 2017 data into my data visualization area, that Power Query not only can handle big data, it can significantly save the storage, right? So even if we are working with like 60 megabyte of data, the file size will be pretty less compared to the overall file size we have extracted in Power Query. So let us wait till like 3 or 4 more minutes. Let us load the data to our data visualization area. And afterwards, we will obviously get to see that how can we plot this data to Power BI application as well. So I'm showing it in Microsoft Excel currently, and I will definitely show you in Microsoft Power BI as well, so that you get to compare that which applications would be uh, like useful for you, right? So if you have any question, please let us know. We are almost at the end. So let Excel do its work. In the meantime, let me just introduce you guys to some of the cool resources we can get on Power Query, right? So I'm again sharing my PowerPoint screen over here, right? So uh, these are the resources you can you know scroll or skim through, right? One is chandu.org, where you can get a 1 hour Power Query tutorial for free, obviously. And you can get a lot more details about Power Query that would obviously interest you to further dig in to Power Query. And another one is Excel Basement, and they have a very awesome resource named Mr. Rahim Zulfikar Ali, who is also working on both Power Query and Power BI. And obviously, one of my favorite is Oz du Soleil. So he's also a great resource on Power Query. I have been following his YouTube channel, So I have provided you the link. You can also see his video. And another one is Celia Alves. Her organization name is Solve and Excel Consulting. So she also has some cool resources you can scroll through. And another very good presenter on Power Query, and obviously on a lot Excel topics are Laila Gharani. So she's from Austria, I guess, and she's also very cool. And obviously, those who are connected to Excel world should know Mr. Excel, Bill Jelen. So Bill Jelen is another cool resource who has prepared lots of cool videos on Power Query, and obviously on and other Excel topics. And last but not the least, you can obviously subscribe and go through my YouTube channel, that is 5MB Excel class. You can also find some cool videos on Power Query. And in my channel, I try to work on the problems that I get from my students all over the world, and based on their problems, I prepare the video. So I hope that you will surely enjoy. All right. So let us go back to our Excel, that whether it's ready or not. I can see it's ready almost, and you can see the 2017 data is available. This is sheer magic. And this is only possible with Power Query, trust me. Yes, obviously the VBA guys will tell that it can be done, obviously, with VBA. Yes, I'm not a great fan of VBA, but I'm definitely a fan of Power Query, and I'm trying to inject this Power Query thing in Bangladesh so that people, uh, earn and learn the benefit of being automated, and we can get a lot more insights from our unstructured data uh, very quickly. As I have said, the world is changing very fast. To keep up with ourselves with the pace, obviously we need Power Query. And you can see that 2017 data is available. If I click on 2017, the chart is updated, and we are able to see the different products data information here, right? And one last thing I need to show, that we have the combined size of the file is like what, 60 megabyte, and you can see our report file size is only 16 megabyte. So you can save a lot of your storage with Power Query. And the thing I'm sharing with you is really magical. Trust me, Power Query is sheer magic. And one thing you need to understand: the more the file size is, the more it will take the time of processing. So if you want to automate the process, keeping the file size to a minimum, you should use Power Query. And one last thing I will show you. I hope Edward will allow me, obviously. So the
Just go
Power,
ahead.
yeah, the Power BI thing. So in Power BI, we have a similar option available to work with Power Query. So this is the Power BI window, and we can use the get data area from here. And if we go to more, right, if we go to more, it will allow us to connect to a folder as well, right? So you can see there are a lot more option available. You can connect to Excel, you can connect to a text or CSV file. You can connect to even folder, PDF, and there are Oracle database, SQL Server. Those who are working with Microsoft Azure, you can connect to Azure or SharePoint. Okay, there are numerous options, and this is really, really amazing. And if we select the folder option and press on connect, it will pop up a similar dialog box that we had in our Excel area. You can just browse the location or copy the location and paste it here, and you will be able to connect. Since I have connected to the data source, I'm just showing you that we have different revenue values available for different brands, right? So this visualization is prepared with Power BI, and this is the canvas. The area, the white area is called the canvas, so that you can draw whatever you want with meaningful insights. So if you click on the bars, it will change, right? So it will change on the basis of different products we have, right? So how can you prepare this visualization? So let me just delete the data, and I have whenever I load the data and transform it with Power Query, it will create a filled area like this. So from where you can simply drag the option you want into the canvas, and it will prepare a visualization like this. Then you can choose from the visualization area which visualization will suit you. So if I select this bar chart, just click on it, it will create the visualization you want, right? So since we don't have the revenue value available to us, let me just drag the revenue value here, and you will be able to see the revenue value from here, and it's dynamic. Whenever you select one or one particular product, it will update the entire visualization, right? So if we go like sales representative wise, we can also go to sales representative wise, right? If we want to see the particular month data, we will be able to see. So this is how dynamic is Power BI and Microsoft Excel, and it is only due to this Power Query, because Power Query has the immense power and ability to transform the unstructured data to a very, very structured data. So thank you very much. That's it for today. I hope that I'm able to contribute my knowledge and skill to the audience we have today, and hopefully it has created enough motivation to you to explore the magical world of Power Query. And I hope to get back to you uh, with more resources on Power Query if Edwards arrange a separate training session on this. And obviously, I look forward to meet you in other sessions on Power Query and obviously on Excel. So keep excelling and be healthy. Uh, and yeah, keep following Prerona Television, because they are offering very, very good and resourceful live sessions, and they have a very good chunk of resource persons. uh, I regularly follow their videos, and they are really very, very insightful. And Mr. Edward and his channel is contributing a lot to the society with these informative sessions. Thank you very much. Over to you, Edward.
All right, thank you very much. Just to before I think say anything, I think there are few other those attendees are they're having issues of whether I can send that recording and practice file. uh, with that. So those who attended the session, right, with that webinar, I think we will be sending you the recording to your email address because you registered with your email. So with that email address, we'll be sending you those recording, special recording. Thank you, those who are joining with us in recording. And we do highly encourage those who are not only seeing the live, but we highly encourage to attend the webinar session. So you will be getting certificates, the our attendance if you attend this webinar. We'll highly encourage you with that. So thank you very much. Um, uh, MD May Zanuddin Rupam bhai, for your wonderful presentation. I think this session is very important. I think you can stop the screen sharing, I guess. Um,
Okay.
so thank you so much for being with us. And we actually for this particular session, I think we were our vision and our passion is actually share our knowledge, the information technology knowledge to our community. Because of pandemic, a lot of challenges are there. So we want to make sure that our communities are equipped with all those tools and techniques which is available. So we highly encourage our community members to at least get the informations, use those informations, um, so that right you can do well in your field. And it can be used many ways. You can use personally, you can use in your workplace, beneficial, and you can upgrade yourself and you can get uh, job opportunities, anything. So it's very important sessions today. I is For some maybe it's overwhelming, but I think if you can go through it like over and over again, I think a lot of informations can be cleared, and you can reach to us, and we can definitely reach to Mr. Rupam for any queries. He is a trainer, professional trainer, so he's been training for a number of years with a very large organization, multinational companies, and he's very actively, and he's one of those I think top grade trainer in Bangladesh. So thank you so much, Mr. Rupam, for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us. With that, right, I would like to welcome you to see our information technology speaker series. We'll be bringing more technical sessions in future. So keep an eye. We will be sharing this information to you. Thank you so much for being with us, uh, and you stay safe and stay blessed. And thank you again, Mr. Rupam, for your time.
Thanks for having me. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.